good hello to you all. Allow me to extend a very personal and a very warm welcome to Saturday Night Fry. It really does give me enormous pleasure. It's almost indecent. I'm blessed if I know what could be lovelier. Here I am with my friends, whom we'll meet in a moment. There you are with yours, whom I may never meet, just as it should be. Anonymity is the discretion of wit. Incidentally, we were talking last week about the different types of fish you can buy. Do you remember? And you said that you could get skate at Purvis's down the road, and I said you couldn't because I'd tried and they only had dabs and hake. Well, you were right. I bought some skate there yesterday. Old Mr. Purvis said it must have been because they were sold out last time, because they usually have it right up to July. So, as I say, you were right and I was wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. So that fight was about nothing. Well, never mind. A few splintered kneecaps will soon mend. It takes a lot longer than that to repair a broken heart. But hey, put on your listening gloves, I beg of you, and dive into another thick, warming bowl of Saturday Night Fry. Hit it, bitch.
Now, if you ever been down to New Orleans, then you can understand just what I mean. Now, all through the week, it's quiet as a mouse, but on Saturday night, they go from house to house. You don't have to pay the usual admission if you're a cook or a waiter or a good musician. So if you happen to be just passing by, stop in at the Saturday Night Fish Fry. It was rocking.
You know, the more I hear that tune, the better I get to know it. Now, where are we, for goodness sake? What's going on? Once more, the mixture is the familiar blend of old and new that has given this programme its distinctive, rather unpleasant flavour. Let me turn first to old Hugh. Hugh Laurie, pet of the smart set, actor, style dragoon, and very much the last court of appeal for anyone experiencing difficulties with their mouth. An authority on 18th century Swiss enamelware, Hugh enjoys gardening, volleyball, and going to the lavatory. His ambition is to rid the world of the letter G. Hugh, my dear old chum, well met.
Hello.
Now, have you spent the week, Hugh, since last we sat together like this?
I've spent it, if you must know, Stephen, shut up in my bedroom, just trying to forget.
Trying to forget? Trying to forget what?
Trying to forget... I can't remember what it was, actually.
So, a successful week then, by and large. Now, let's turn to our other stalwart regular, Jim Broadbent.
Oh, damn.
What's the matter, Hugh?
That's it. That's what I was trying to forget. Jim's surname. Now you've gone and reminded me.
Oh, dear. Well, don't worry. I won't mention it again. You'll soon forget it.
All right.
Now, Jim X. Actor, preacher, friend of the friendless, expert on the various ways it's possible to spell the word trouser. Hello.
You're welcome.
Jim, we've had a number of letters from people intrigued by your accent. Where does he come from? Mavette Tarleton of Dodge City wants to know. Or here's one from Simon Grint of New Malden. I knew a Broadbent when I was a little girl.
Oh, thanks. I was just beginning to forget again.
Sorry, Hugh. I wonder if it's the same one, Simon Grint goes on. Jim, put our minds at rest. Where do you come from? What's the family history?
Well, my family originally came from Lincolnshire. In fact, in the Market Raisin area, there are records of Broadbents
as
early as 1970. My branch of the family left Lincolnshire for France, though.
France?
That's right. For family holiday. They were soon back, and that's where they've been ever since.
You excite me. So, Lincolnshire, but with a French strain in there somewhere.
That's about the size of it.
Well, it's enormous. Now, a guest. I'm just a tiny bit thrilled because we're able, for the first time ever, to welcome Phillida Law to the Saturday Night Fry studio. Phillida Law, striding Cleopatra of the airwaves, soft-toned she-bear of British theatre, the woman for whom the word plenty rhymes with 20, and for whom the word strimpupper is meaningless. Phillida Law, a warm and greasy welcome.
You stopped it once.
Phillida, looking over your long and varied body, it's easy to see that you like to take care of yourself. Do you have a regime you stick to?
I won't call it a regime, Stephen.
Oh, well, don't then.
I'd rather call it a drill. I have a drill that I cling to every night.
Good Lord, so do I. What colour's yours?
Hugh, I'm talking to Phillida, if you don't mind. Your exercises, Phillida, your drill.
Yes. I stretch and touch my knees 10 times.
Touch your knees? That's not very demanding.
It depends where they are, Stephen.
Thanks, Philly. Lovely. So, now, after a tragically unenforced absence of some weeks now, we're delighted to welcome back to the Saturday Night Fry studios our own very favourite lovely Miss Emma Thompson. Emma, hello. How are you? And I won't take yes for a question.
Yes.
No, I won't take yes for a question.
No.
That's better. Now, Em, we've just met and chatted to young Phillida Law there. You ever worked with her before?
Yeah, once or twice, yeah.
Think very carefully.
Three times.
Now, what would you say if I said to you Phillida Law's your mother, Em?
Oh, that Phillida Law?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry,
No.
I'm sorry. I thought you said,
Now, why wouldn't you recognise her?
Miriam Law.
No, you knew. Come on. Why didn't you say hello?
I'm sorry, Stephen, we're just not talking.
Oh, shut up.
You're not talking to your own mother?
No, I'm afraid not. I've cut her out of my life and I just don't want to know anymore. I'm sorry.
In that case, Emma, perhaps you and I will have to work separately in a small room of our own.
I'd
Meanwhile,
like that.
here's some music. And as Liszt's concert paraphrase of the spinning chorus from Wagner's Der Fliegende Holländer, or The Flying Dutchman, fades away, it's time for Don't Be Dirty, the hygiene programme. I'm Marlin Proboscis.
I'm Velia Morant. We've concentrated largely over the last few weeks on ways of sanitising household objects. We talked about phone spraying and seat wiping last week, and the week before we showed how a typical family might hose visitors down before letting them into the house.
That's right, and we've been campaigning for the installation of disinfectant footbaths in cinemas and public places. But one aspect we haven't really concentrated on is the mental side of hygiene.
Because that's where hygiene starts. If you think and speak cleanly, then you will act cleanly. As Horace puts it, mens sana in corpore sano.
The men's sauna offers corporal punishment.
Our roving reporter Narbin Jointclister went out and about last week to discover just exactly how cleanly Britain thinks. How did it go, Narbin?
Well, Velia, you know, we British are often accused of having amongst the dirtiest minds of any people in Europe, but I wondered just how true is that accusation. I thought I'd test some of the passers-by in a typically revolting shopping centre, or mall, as it has decided to call itself.
Yes?
My name's Narbin Jointclister from the BBC's Don't Be Dirty programme.
Oh, yes?
I wondered if you could tell me what comes into your head when I say to you, what a tremendous pair.
What a tremendous pair. What a tremendous pair. A tremendous pair of what?
Well, thank you. That answers the question for me.
Gloves, socks, what?
No, that's all right. Perhaps you can answer me this. Are you getting any?
Am I getting any?
Yes. You know, are you getting any?
Getting any what? Am I getting any letters in the post? Am I getting any younger? What?
Well, again, that answers the question for me.
Oh, good.
Finally, which is the odd name out from this list? Dick, Percy, Neville, John Thomas, Willie.
Say again. Dick, Percy.
Dick, Percy, Neville, John Thomas, Willie.
I should say probably Neville.
Really? May I ask why?
Well, it's the only one whose last letter comes before its first in the alphabet.
I see.
And of course, Neville isn't a euphemism for penis, is it? That's the other thing.
Well, quite. Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
I'm doing a test for Don't Be Dirty.
Don't be dirty.
That's right. I wondered if you could perhaps help me out.
Well, I'll do what I can.
Thanks very much. Now, I'm going to read out some words, and I'd like you to say the first word that comes into your head. All right?
Okay, far away.
Right.
Wrong.
No.
Yes.
No, I mean, I haven't started yet.
Oh, I see, I'm sorry.
So,
Reap.
no, look.
Listen.
No, when I want you to start, I'll raise my hand, like this. Understand?
Comprehend.
No.
Yes, we've had that one before.
Jesus Christ.
Superstar.
They weren't all quite as uncooperative as that, you'll be glad to hear.
When you say a word, I have to say the word that comes into my mind first.
That's right. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Right. Cheek.
Buttocks.
Uh-huh. Birds.
Tits.
Clean.
Bottom.
Naughty.
Bits.
Politician.
Naked.
Good Lord. Trousers.
Down.
Take.
Punishment.
Punishment.
Tory.
Scissors.
Nude.
How on earth do you find a connection between scissors and nude?
I cut them out of the magazines, don't I?
All right. Wireless.
Bottom.
Bottom?
People on the wireless have got bottoms, haven't they? Same as anyone else.
Suppose so.
You've got one, haven't you?
Well, yes, I have, as a matter of fact.
Of course you have. I can see it. Very nice one, too, if I may say so.
Thank you.
Very round.
Quite. May I ask what...
But trim.
May I ask what you do? What is your job?
I complain.
I beg your pardon?
I'm a complainer. I write complaining letters to the BBC. I shall be complaining about this programme, I expect, if I hear it. Even if I don't.
And the strains of Beethoven's Egmont Overture fading away tell us that it's time for our midday play.
We present Bennifer's Turn by Roselle Mothervest, starring Fubby Prilk as Bennifer Thruss and Venton Splat as the Man, with the waiter played by Patrice Broadbent.
Oh, damn, I'd just forgotten.
And Hilly Holly Handy as the peculiar name. Bennifer's Turn by Roselle Mothervest.
I'm Benefer. I don't know how you describe me. Ordinary, I suppose. Before John left me, he used to say that I was dependable. Dependable. I suppose that's fair. He certainly depended on me to bring up Maddie and Tim on my own, to be wife, mother, chief cook and dog washer and general bottles body. Otherwise, what is my life? The library on Tuesdays, the Tesco superstore on Fridays, the occasional lunch with Julia or Bessie. I suppose it was a lunch that started it all. I'd arranged to meet Julia at a new Welsh restaurant that had just opened in Blespig Street.
Have you booked, mademoiselle?
Oh, yes. It would have been booked in the name of Parkin, I expect. I'm a little early.
Parkin. Ah, yes, une table pour deux, a table for two, à 1 heure, at 1 o'clock. Veuillez-vous me suivre, if you would follow me, please, madame?
It's so full. Typical of Julia to want to come here. I must say Welsh food looks rather odd. Look at the other tables there. Other women meeting, Marks and Sparks bags under the table. Pick up the children at 3:30, then home and put the potato piles under the grill. Then husband home from work and straight onto the green trail on Parker Knoll recliner to watch Wogan and Young Musician of the Year. It's all so...
Here we are, madame. I'll bring the menu suddenly.
Thank you. My God, that man's fat. I don't think I've ever seen a fatter man. And look at that woman. What an extraordinarily silly name she's got. Ridiculous. And what an ugly child.
Voici, madame, le menu. May I ask you, perhaps, if you're going to be rude about the customers, you do it a little more quietly?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That man over there is wearing a wig. It's such an obvious one. How could his wife let him go out like that? And look at her. She's got an even sillier name.
No, that's still too loud, I'm afraid. It's upsetting them.
Mrs. Thruss?
Yes?
Mrs. Benefer Thruss?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, damn. I wanted someone called Jane Wentworth.
Table 4, monsieur, over there.
Thanks.
Mrs. Thruss?
Yes?
Mrs. Benefer Thruss?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, thank God.
Why? What is it? What's happened?
I'm John Parkin. You're a friend of my mother's.
You're Julia's boy.
Yes, we've never met, I don't think.
Well, once, when you were a baby. But you've changed a bit since then.
I should hope so.
Yes, indeed.
Still wet the bed, though, worse luck. Anyway, the thing is, Mother's been called out, an emergency.
But she works in a knitwear shop.
I know. There's been an accident on the Curse Pig Road. They need a dozen Fair Isle tank tops and 20 cable knit errands urgently, so she can't make lunch. She asked me to tell you.
Oh, well, not to worry. Look, why don't you join me?
Oh, well, thanks. Yes, I'd like that. I enjoy Welsh cuisine. They tell me it's all the rage in New York.
I've never had it before. I've heard that...
The menu, monsieur, madame.
My word, you brought that suddenly.
Yes, he said he would. What is Primibotlag exactly?
I'm sorry, madam, that's a misprint. There should be another L in it. No wonder you were puzzled.
Yes.
Well, while you're deciding, I think I'll have the...
Excellent choice, sir. How'd you like it?
medium rare.
Very good for you, madam.
I think I'll have the same.
Bien sûr.
Oh, and a bowl of...
In an instant. Very good accent you've got there, sir.
What an attractive boy. Boy? Man, really. I'm old enough to be his sister. Benefer, stop it. You know you've given up men. So tall as well. He must be 6'2".
6'3", actually.
6'3". He's older than I thought. But I couldn't. What would Julia say? She'd be angry. Angry? Did I say angry?
Yes, you did.
Thought so, thanks. Angry, she'd be furious. I'm a middle-aged woman. Why should a boy like that look at me?
Because you're an attractive woman, that's why.
Oh, stop it.
No, you are, it's true.
Oh, please.
I thought so the very first time I met you.
You were 2 weeks old.
I still knew a beautiful woman when I saw one. My God, that man's smoking. Hey, you! Yes, you!
Are you talking to me?
Yes, you put that bloody cigarette out, will you?
Sorry.
If there's one thing that really gets on my wick, it's people smoking in public places. Come on, right out! The end's still glowing.
I'm afraid we're fresh out of those, sir.
No, that was just a cough.
All right.
Yes, I suppose smoking is a bit irritating when you're eating.
It's just revolting.
Funny though, isn't it? When I was a girl, everyone smoked all the time and no one ever complained. In fact, we liked it.
Nonsense. It's dangerous, unsociable, and unpardonable.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Do you mind not being a bigot when my family and I are eating?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm rather worried about the effects of passive bigotry. I read somewhere that my children will have a 30% greater chance of growing up intolerant and overbearing if they absorb other people's bigotry. So if you're going to be a bigot, would you mind doing it outside, please?
Well, really?
And as the music for the arrival of the Venetian ambassador from Act 3 of Verdi's Otello fades away, we come to that part of the programme we call Stephen Will Do His Level Best to Ensure That Your Wishes Come to Pass. And our first letter comes from Bob Stapleford of Redcar, who wrote saying, "Dear Stephen, would you do your level best to take me for a night out in London?" So I went up to Redcar to meet Bob and decided to go for a night out on my own. I had a splendid dinner, saw a couple of shows and chewed the fat with some trendy media pals, and all at the expense of the BBC. So thank you very much, Mr. Stapleford of Redcar. While I was about it, I decided to shoot you a quick roundup of what's in, what's out and what's bubbling under in the swinging city. That's right, and here I am in Carnaby Street, throbbing centre of the pulsating metropolis. And here's a trendsetter. Excuse me, sir, I was just wondering where you got that rather fab Union Jack bowler hat.
Wie bitte?
The hat.
Entschuldigung, ich spreche kein Englisch.
Ah, so you don't understand what's written on your T-shirt. It is a blessing, as it says, "My folks went to London and all they got me was this lousy T-shirt." Sight-splitting.
Carnaby Street is open 24 hours a day, except for the shops. Here you can buy blow-up skeletons, Garfield tea towels and a coffee mug shaped like a penis.
Well, now I'm in the Groucho Club, where they serve drinks.
Hello, sir. What can I get for you?
Oh, thank you. I'd like a bottle of your trendiest Mexican beer.
There you are, sir. £1.60.
Oh, thank you. Here's your change. And I have with me my old friend Jim Broadbent, who is this week's guest critic.
Yes, that's right, Stephen. And it's a pretty sorry batch of guests we've got this week. This one over here's a bit scruffy. That woman's hair could do with a good brush.
Jim?
And that chap isn't wearing a tie.
Jim, could you just criticise the film?
The film?
The film we paid for you to get into.
Oh, yes. I've just been to see Empire of the Sun.
Hello, Stephen.
Hello there.
The epic new movie from Steven Spielberg.
Hi!
Hello, Valdemar.
Based on the novel by J.G. Ballard.
I'm sorry?
Based on the novel by J.G. Ballard. A moving evocation of childhood wonder set in a Japanese prisoner of war camp towards the end of the... Stephen? Stephen?
Oh, sorry, Jim. Just chatting to someone more interesting. Jim Broadbent is now appearing at the National Theatre in... Oh, excuse me. I've just seen someone more interesting than this tape machine. Wincy, how are you? Oh, God, I just saw Craig Charles a minute ago at Dennis Street Court.
The Groucho Club is where they serve drinks. Drinks are liquids that are imbibed for recreation and intoxication. Intoxication is a term referring to getting drunk. To get drunk means basically to,
Next, I decided to go to the theatre.
Your ticket, sir. D17, left-hand aisle, 4th row from the front.
Haven't I?
No.
Well, I spent a thoroughly enjoyable time watching Simon Gray's The Common Pursuit. Halfway through the interval, I realised I was supposed to be performing in it. This may have accounted for some of the more Pinteresque pauses in the first act. Back then, to Groucho's.
So all in all, Stephen, for my money, Empire of the Sun merits an easy 8 out of 10 for... Well, Stephen!
Oh, sorry, Jim. Back in a second.
Jim Broadbent is now appearing to be a bit fed up.
Next, it was time for a taste of India and a slap-up tea at the Maharani.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And whom do we have?
Well, table for one, please.
May I take your coat?
Oh, thank you.
Your Union Jack bowler hat?
Here you are.
Your Garfield tea towel?
Yes.
Will you be drinking out of that mug, sir?
Oh, I don't think so.
So there we are, and thanks once again, Mr. Stapleford of Redcar, for writing to Stephen Will Do His Level Best.
Stephen?
Not now, Hugh. Next up on my show, it's time for a...
Oh, just a cotton-picking minute.
Yes?
What the devil is he doing here?
No, it's all right, that's Hugh.
Oh, is he? Oh, I'm sorry.
Not at all, not at all.
Right, well, now let's...
Stephen,
Yes, Emma, what?
I'm not actually in this programme much, am I?
No, well, don't worry. Your mother's doing fine. We don't really need you. So... And as Schumann's Rheinische Symphonie fades away, you find us round the table playing the oddest game. The Saturday Night Fry production office gets sent, as you can imagine, a large number of games, records, toys, restaurants, cafes and cars, in an attempt to gain our seal of fashionable approval, our imprimatur, if you like, and even actually if you don't like. Well, this new game we've been sent is called Kick the Frog. Right, so who's the frog?
I am.
Oh, dear. Well, Jim, you have to ask him a question from this box here.
OK. Right, who was the first person to run the 4-minute mile to the nearest hundredweight?
Roger Bannister.
Correct. And now Philly has to kick you.
Ow! But I got it right.
Yes, it's every time you get it right, Philly has to kick you.
Why?
You're the frog.
Right, still with you then, Hugh. What was the date of the Spanish Armada?
1974.
No, that's wrong.
You kicked me.
That's right. If you get it wrong, I have to kick you.
But this is completely unfair.
Question still with you, Hugh.
Well, how do I lose it then?
Hang on, I'm just actually reading the lid now. Kick the Frog is like life. It is completely and absurdly unfair. The only way it will work as a game, without exploiting the unfortunate frog, is for you to change the rules until they become more balanced and more humane. Whether the frog forces you to change them out of anger and indignation, or whether you change them out of sympathy and humanity, may well determine the fate of mankind. So be careful.
Well.
Goodness.
So, anyway, Jim, you were asking Hugh a question.
Right. Who wrote Martin Chuzzlewit?
Charles Dickens.
Kick him, Philly.
Ow!
And as the sound of Richard Strauss's Alpine Symphony fades away, it's time for Eavesdrop, the Earwig on the Wall documentary series in which we listen in on professionals at work. This week we overhear Donquis Garuda, a psychotherapist, with his patient Francine Krunt.
So, Francine, tell me, it's been 6 weeks now. You're still bitter, angry?
I don't know, Doctor. When Tom left me, I felt betrayed. Not by Brad, not by Tom, in fact. Betrayed by myself.
Francine, from what you're telling me, I think that when Tom left you, you felt betrayed, not by Brad, not by Tom, in fact, but betrayed by yourself.
Really? You think so?
I think so.
That could be it, Doctor. I'm a very sensitive person. People think of me as cold and reserved. That's just an outer shell.
Now, I'm going to suggest to you, Francine, that you're a very sensitive person. That people think of you as cold and reserved, but really, that's just an outer shell. What do you make of that?
I just have to believe in myself, that's all. I have to say, hey, Francine, calm down, you're a special lady. Believe in yourself. I don't need drugs or alcohol or anything external. The cure rests within me.
You see, now, Francine, I suggest that all you have to do is believe in yourself. That's all. You have to say, hey, Francine, calm down. I'm a special lady. I believe in myself. I don't need drugs or alcohol or anything external. The cure rests within me. That's what I got to say to yourself.
Really? Wow. Gosh, thanks, Doctor. I don't know what to say. How can I repay you?
$300, Francine. That's how. Expertise has a price. And as the intermezzo from Puccini's Manolesco fades away, you find us a little further forward in our playing of Kick the Frog. We've added a note of democracy to the proceedings. Primitive and early days yet, but democracy nonetheless. Jim and I have voted. Women not yet eligible, and obviously frogs can't vote.
That's right. And Stephen and I have voted that Hugh should remain a frog for the next 5 years.
It's an outrage.
I must say, I do think you men are being a little cruel.
Never mind that, Philly. You wouldn't understand. Now, Frog. Who invented the first X-ray machine?
Wilhelm Röntgen.
Correct. Shall we kick him?
Well, I vote that we should.
Me too. Kick him, Philly.
Hugh, put that down.
Nobody move. We're going to have some changes round here.
You can't get away with this, you know.
Oh, look what you got away with.
That was the law. Of course, I can understand you want to change the game, but you know, Hugh, if you go outside the rules, you forfeit your right to change anything.
We will not talk to the men of violence.
Right. I have to say, you had my sympathy, Hugh, while you were being exploited, but you've lost it now.
I don't care. You pushed me to extremes. It's your fault. If you treated me decently, fed me, housed me, taken time off from kicking me from time to time, well, but as it is...
Look, Hugh. We'll talk to you if you put that down.
That's right. But we won't be forced to negotiate at the point of a gun.
Or pencil, in this case.
I want a promise that the vote will be extended to Philly and myself.
We will certainly vote on that, Hugh, I promise.
Well, all right, then you can have your pencil back.
Right. Sit down then, Frog.
We have to vote first.
Indeed. The proposition has been put that the vote be extended to Philly and Hugh. How do you vote?
No.
Same here. Sorry, Frog. We're not ready to go that far.
It's the same the whole world over, isn't it?
Thank goodness. And as the aria O Zittre nicht from Mozart's The Magic Flute fades away, you find us transformed into a pluralist social democracy. Hugh, hi.
Hello there.
Let's decide who's going to be Frog, shall we?
Right?
Good idea. Yeah.
Well, I must say, my view, for what it's worth, is that it would be mad to throw away the experience of leadership that Jim and I have built up thus
Sounds
far.
fair.
And of course, Philip has had no experience of being Frog.
That's right. Hugh's been trained and bred for the job. I see myself more in a consultative capacity.
Good.
Oh, great. Fabulous. Look, why don't we simply not play the game?
What do you mean?
I mean, just pack it in and get on with proper life.
Not play the game.
That would hardly be playing the game, would it?
Exactly.
We could try, couldn't we?
All right, then. Let's not play it.
What shall we do instead?
We could...
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Tell you what.
What?
Let's kick Hugh.
Brilliant.
Good idea.
Ow! 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 Sometimes I wonder what it's all about.
And as the tones of Vladimir Kozma's piano solo's Sentimental Walk fade away, there's time for one of your letters. A letter from Tati Westhandel of Freep Danger Close, Horsechrist in Sussex.
Dear Saturday Night Fry, I was absolutely astounded at some of the language in today's edition of your programme. Not content with 2 mentions of the word penis, 3 if you read this letter out, there was a section in which you interviewed me in the street and twisted my answers to make it sound as if I had a dirty mind. It isn't me that has a dirty mind. I just don't think sex should be endlessly rammed down our throats, that's all. It leaves a nasty taste in the mouth and I can't take it anymore. It's all right for children, but at this time of day there might be grown-ups listening. I'm sorry to open up in the air like this, but if you can't give tongue in public, then where are you?
Noted, Mrs. Westhandel. Thanks for the interest. Right, well, Emma has streaked off to catch a taxi without saying goodbye. A little rude, but it reminds us all that it is indeed time for us all to slip away from you. All good things come to an end, and so do not such good things like this. Now, team, I asked you all before we began the programme to bring in a favourite amusing misprint with which to leave us. Philly, we'll start with you. Your amusing quotation?
It's from the Bridlington Express and Record, and it says, plans for a new library in the Market Square at Maltby were shelved yesterday.
Shelved? Oh, that is funny. Library shelved. Jim, what about you?
Oh dear, fire that. A cutting from the Garbolisham Echo and Reverberation.
Essential reading for everyone.
And it says, Jim and Alison Riseborough announced the engagement of their daughter Tamina to Derek McCarter, a metalworker from Hindleveston. The welding will take place in June. I know.
Dear. Oh, dear. And Hugh?
Well, this one is from the Daily Mail.
That's a new one on me. I don't know where you find all these obscure papers. I really don't.
It says, sources close to the president say that he is determined to seek further money from Congress. It was announced yesterday.
I don't get it.
Yesterday, you see. It should be yesterday, with a Y.
Oh.
Right.
Kick him, somebody.
Oh, ah! Ow!
And as the sound of Hugh being kicked viciously fades away, it's time to bid you all farewell. Saturday Night Fry was written and presented by Stephen Fry and starred Hugh Laurie, Jim... I've forgotten his surname, Jim.
Broadbent. It's Broadbent.
Oh, bother, I'd managed to forget it too.
Jim Broadbent, Emma Thompson, tonight's special guest parent, Phillida Law, and tonight's mystery guest, Mr. Nedwin Sherrin. Additional material by Ian Brown and James Hendry. The show was produced in our Reefham studios by Dan Patterson.
Ow! Now, if you ever want to get a fist in your eye, just mention a Saturday night fish fry. I don't care how many fish in the sea, but don't ever mention a fish.